Okay. Good morning, Eliezer.
Yeah, good morning.
Thank you. So, I think we left off the last line of Samach Gimel, Amud Aleph, Amud Rava, Mamish the bottom line of 63a. Good morning. Good morning.
Oh, man.
Okay, we thank Hashem that we're playing Torah every day. This was of learning we share the base of Migdash.
Amen.
And the learning the Nishma, Sava Golda Baspar Finyamin, and Nathaniel Zev, and Benzin. Whoever needs to refresh Lema. Okay. So we had over here Shmamina from Yabaishia, three things. Who was the one that was saying this? Rava. Whoa. Okay. To make up for all the days of Pesach.
I don't know if we keep getting smaller.
Okay, so the three things was the first, well, we don't have to go through all of them. One of them was that Rabbi Yanai says, Mali Hein, Mali Dmeim. Rabbi Yanai said that if a person gives money at the beginning of the time of the market, at the beginning of the time when when the price comes out already on the produce, when it comes time to taking this produce, he doesn't have to actually take the produce. He can even take the value of the produce. In other words, let's say he's buying wheat. So he gives the guy $1,000 for the wheat for this season. And when it comes time for the amount of wheat that he bought, when he wants to take it, so the guy tells him, instead of giving you the wheat, let me give you something else of its value. What really is, what's happening there is he's giving him $1,000 and he's getting back its value, which changed in price. So if he was getting the wheat, then we would understand that he's getting the wheat. That's what he purchased, and that was his, and so it got worth more. But now he's getting back 1,500. He's just giving him 1,500, so the mamish is it's like taking interest. But because it's a sale, so we're not concerned about that. That's what you bought. You can get either the produce or you can get the value of it. Rava says Hashdam Rabbi Yanai. Once Rabbi Yanai has said already, Mali Hein, Mali Dmeim. What's the difference if you give the item or if you give the value of the item? I mean, Mali Dmeim, Mali Hein, Nami. Mali Hein, Mali Dmeim, Nami. Once we say that it doesn't matter if it's the original item or the value, so then Mali Dmeim, Mali Hein, Nami. I mean, then we also say the opposite. Now, what exactly does he mean the opposite? Different interpretations there. But it goes on. That means is that you can make the there's a leniency here, a leniency that you can pay for something even though the person doesn't have it at that moment. Now, originally we saw before that was a problematic, but apparently according to Rabbi Yanai, that's acceptable. Because what you're doing then,
that's not a Nas Rubis.
What's happening is the guy's taking money and giving you back more. If you have the item there, then he's actually buying. Then you're actually buying the item. If you don't have the item there, so then what is he really buying? It looks more like he's lending.
Can make a difference between the individual person, someone that's selling from their house, or the business.
I'm not sure. Maybe it comes out. Maybe it comes out from that. They have to see how this works. Isvei, this is Rava that's saying this, based on Rabbi Yanai. Now, the way he's getting to this is that Mali Hein, Mali Dmeim. What's the difference if when you get back what you get back is the produce, so you get back the value of the produce. Same thing when you're giving it. Same thing as if you're giving, if the person has the produce there, he doesn't have the produce there, it doesn't matter because he has the money for the produce. If when it comes time for payment, the guy can give you either the produce or the value of the produce. When it comes time for purchasing also, it doesn't matter if he has the produce or he has the value of the produce, which is the money.
Okay, so this is
This is what he's getting from Rabbi. You follow that? Well, if he doesn't have the produce, so what? He has the money for the produce, which means he could purchase it right away. So that's fine because you just paid him. That's what he has. Okay, so these are two students of Rava. They ask him, it says first that this is not allowed. We had in the case back by Rabbi Shia that whenever the guy says, remember that story? The guy said he lent someone money, and he says, "Give me the money. I need to buy wheat." So he says, "Oh, that's perfect. I have wheat." So he says he comes to get the wheat. So he says, "Give me the wheat. I want to buy wine." He says, "Oh, it's perfect. I have wine. I'll give you the wine." So he comes to taking the wine. So he says, "Give me the wine. I want to buy oil." He says, "Okay, it's perfect. Your lucky day. I have oil for you." So all of those were acceptable. He was giving him at the price that it was. And you see, what happened is that you would buy it at the beginning of the season at a low price, and then it would go up throughout the season. The price would go up, and then when the guy would take it when no one else has it, he would want to sell it. So at that point, he would be getting a higher price for the oil. He would be getting the oil at a lower price, but the oil was really worth more. So he's getting more value than what he paid. So
wouldn't that be the benefit that he gets?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Now that was allowed. There were two things that were important over there for that to be allowed. One was that the market price was already given, established. And the second thing is that the person actually had the item that he was offering. He had to have that item already there. But if he doesn't have the item, then no. Now this contradicts what Rava just said in the name of Rabbi Yanai, that even if you don't have the item there, so what? You have the value of that, which is the money.
What if he sells it to multiple people? Like, yeah, he might have maybe 20 pounds of wheat, but then he pre-sells to a lot of people.
So other people. Now, in other words, he doesn't have enough for him.
He won't have enough for any of them because he has like enough for one person. And he took the prepaid from.
So he doesn't have the value then.
I'm not sure. Wait, hold that question because there's going to be a Gemara that's going to come up. It's coming up about does the seller recognize that the person's really going to buy it, or maybe he's going to go somewhere else. We'll see that in a moment. Okay, so the question is that we see from Rabbi Shia that you don't say what we're saying over here from Ran. Maybe you say it's machlekes, but Amar Lahu, Rabbi responded to them, Hasam halva hachasvini. Rabbi Shia was a brisa, that's why we can't say it's machlekes. Rabbi Yanai, I remember if Rabbi Yanai is Rabbi Yanai was a teacher of Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yanai, I think, is a student of Rabbi Yochanan. Well, he says there's a big difference because over there the guy needed to have it because originally the money was lent. Money wasn't being paid, so he didn't even have the money. So over here it's a sale. So if the guy doesn't have it, somebody has the money to buy it somewhere else. Rabba v'Rabbi Yosef Damitavayu, my time Rabban and Pesach al-Shasha b'Shakaf b'Shein like. Rabba and Rabbi Yosef, they come up with a very interesting idea. Why did the rabbis allow the person to prepay for his grain once the market price has been established, even though the person doesn't have the produce there right now? Which basically means that they're giving money, sort of like lending it. It looks like they're lending it. They're buying something, but it looks like they're lending it, and they're going to get back more value than what they're paying. Why was that acceptable? Amalei, because they say to him, I guess the purchaser says to the seller, "You think I really need you? Shakila tivusach v'shadia chizri. Take the benefit that you gave me and throw it onto thorns. It means I don't need your like throw it into the bushes or something. I don't need throw it into the lake. Maya, honestly, what did you give me? If I still had the money in my hands, I could have bought it somewhere else cheap. And wherever I would have kept that grain, it would have gone up in price. I happened to buy it by you. So what? And you were holding on to it. So you think I really need, you think you're really doing anything for me? I bought the grain already myself. I bought the grain and it's my grain that's going up. Would have bought it somewhere else. Well, that's why it's acceptable once the price has been established that I could have bought it anywhere. So you're not really doing me any favors by giving me now that the price has increased because I bought it before. Amalei Abayel or Rabbi Yosef. Abayel says to Rabbi Yosef was the one that gave the svara. Alameata. If that's the way you view things, there's a rabbinic prohibition of lending a bushel and taking back a bushel because the price changes of the item. You have to say the value of the bushel that you lend, and then you take back the value. I lend you $100 worth of grain, then I can take back $100 worth of grain. But if I look at just a bucket of grain, when I take it back, you may be taking back that price could be the price of gold. Maybe the grain went up. So there's a rabbinic problem with doing that. But if you say your logic that you're just saying now, what do I need you for? You're not doing me any favors. So then Mishum de Metzia Daf, it should be acceptable because he could tell him like this: take your benefit and throw it on the thorns. I could you think the grain would have gone bad in my own storage house? In other words, what did you benefit me by you taking the grain? I lent you the grain, and now I'm taking back more valuable grain. Did you do me the favor? That grain would have been worth the same amount if I would have kept it. Right. So you didn't benefit me. So why did the rabbis? That's basically what the person was saying before. That I didn't have to buy it by you. I could have bought it anywhere, and then it would have got worth more. So why is there a problem here of sub-sa according to your logic?
It's thrown on thorns.
That's an expression. Yeah. You didn't do me
like
any
jumping
favors.
the lake.
Oh, go jump in the lake.
I mean, it's
It means you
similar.
didn't do any. You didn't do
It's an
me.
expression.
The favor didn't come from you. It would have gone. I would have had the same benefit if I would have kept the money to myself.
So thorns originally were.
It's just an
Why
expression.
didn't he say like then? Why did he say thorns? What's the origin?
I don't know.
Maybe it's more hurtful. Would he make the acquisition of the plot?
Yeah, probably. That's a problem. That's a good question.
Because then there's a Kenyan.
There's another point that's going to come up. It's gonna come up. I don't know the answer to the question, but the question is going to get a little stronger in a few minutes. So. I think because you prepay, as it's being produced, I think he's taking it. Yeah,
That's part of the price.
I think.
He got the money earlier, but then
Right.
down for everything.
Okay. Amalei, so he responds as well, similar answer. What we saw before. He says, Hasam alva lazvini. Over there he was lending it. Over here he's buying it. Lending this, it's a problem to take back the saw. There was no transaction there other than he's lending it. So he can't take back more value than what he's giving. But over here, he's purchasing something. So what he's taking back was what he purchased. Amalei Ravada bar Abba. I wonder if it's the same. Ravada bar Abba. The Rava. 1 second. person, when he does the sale, what's happening over here is the guy's saying, I don't really need you. I could have bought it anywhere at a lower price. He says, but 1 second. But if you're just going to go buy it anywhere at the low price, which that's the original price of the market, so then you would need to pay a broker's fee. Now you're getting away with that broker's fee. So you're actually gaining something by buying it directly. So Amalei, the Kayav Leinami, we're talking about that he includes the broker's fee in there. That's what Rabba responded. Ravashi says, no, you don't have to say that. Ravashi is many generations later. He says, Zuzi the Inchi, when you have a guy with a lot of money, he avoids the broker's fee because everyone's coming to him to tell him what they have. They want to sell it. They want to sell to him because they know that he buys. So he avoids the broker. Okay. The poor get poorer. The guy with the money, he avoids all of that. Rabba Rav Yosef, the Amri Tavayu, Rabba and Rav Yosef both said, Haiman diyav zuzi atara harifa, tzarech lis chazuri lebeidari. Someone is buying at the very, very early price, even before the market comes out. There's an early price that you can use, but the only thing is, you have to show up at the field itself, at the threshing floor.
Like an auction.
Yeah, like an auction. You have to be there. If you don't show up, then the person doesn't know that you're serious. We're going to see in a minute the explanation. Lamai, why does he have to show up? Ila mikna, does he need to make a kinyan? Alaikani, he wasn't acquiring it. It was before it was available. It was just like, it was being packaged then. Ila kibulela mishapara, if it's because he's going to get a mishapara, if he wants to back out. So then, the rule with mishapara we had before, to get that curse, the mishapara curse, the one that takes retribution from the people of Siddim or people of the flood. It's going to take retribution from the guy that retracts from his word. So once he pays money, he gets the mishapara anyway. So why does he have to show up over there? The Gemara says, the truth is that no, he doesn't get the mishapara if he doesn't show up. Mandi of Zuzia Tara Harifa, when someone does this type of sale, he gets the very early price. Tara means shar, the gate, which means the market price. Lebei Trey Tlasayav. The guy that does this type of thing, he actually goes around to 2-3 people. This is the guy that makes reservations in several hotels, just in case one of them doesn't. Or he goes to 2-3 people. If he shows up, then the seller understands that this guy's a serious guy, and it's for real. The lie, and if he doesn't show up, Amarle, so the seller tells to the purchaser, Amina deshkachas per deshapir mididi v'shaklas. I thought you found somewhere else. That's why I retracted. I already sold mine to someone else. He never showed up. Yeah. Yeah, this has got to be in real estate. This has got to be people. They go look at houses, they show an interest, and it doesn't mean anything. For sure, but cars is like that. So, how do you know the person's gonna? It's usually not like that when you have things in your cart on your way out of the grocery store. Right? But with certain things, you don't know if the guy's really serious.
So they may want it, but not necessarily.
Right. Then, Rashi says, if that's the whole issue over here, that it has to do with smichas das, that means he's relying on him. He's expecting that this is a real sale. Even if he finds him in the market and he has a discussion with him and he tells him, yeah, I'm serious, this is it. So then some chadaite, then it's also, you would get the mishapara because we had the conversation. It wasn't just an initial talk. Amar Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman says, Klalo de Ravisa, the general rule when it comes to interest, Kol agar natale aser. That's the Aramaic term for ribis is agar natar, payment for watching. That means payment for holding on for holding on for letting me hold on to your money. Agar notar.
Category of
Agar
shomer.
Sorry.
Take a new category of shomer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Notar means shamer, and agar means payment. Agra. From Tzara Agra, right? The more pain, according to the pain, is the reward. So,
Okay.
right. The agar notar. The rule is anything that you have to pay because you're delaying repayment. That's considered that's prohibited. I'm Rav Nachman. Another thing Rav Nachman says, "I'm the Avzuzi Likiroi." Someone that gives a zuz or zuzim to a wax seller. What is that? Oh, you say waiting.
Yeah.
Natar means can wait also. It also means to watch. It's interesting. Natar can wait. Okay, someone gives money to a wax seller because they dollar. And I don't know what dollar it is. It's okay. It goes by cakes, yeah, by loaves. They call it cakes. It's probably we call it frames. Like the wax comes in frames. Cakes of wax. All right. So for every four frames or cakes of wax is cost one zuz. Amalei, he tells him, hey, I'll actually give you 5 per zuz. Give you extra. So isnu gabe, if the person actually has it, shari, then that's permissible. Less gabe, but if he doesn't have it, then it's also prohibited, which is very interesting. Because he's not giving him the market price, he's giving him a different price. So if he doesn't have it, if it would be the market price, then that money, according to Rabbi Yana, remember, money would be the same like, okay, I don't have it, but someone else has it.
Right.
But now that he's not doing that, he's paying him, he's giving him more than what the market price is, then he has to actually have it in order for that to be an acceptable deal. Where says Pshita, this is obvious. It's no, it's necessary. This he actually doesn't have it, but he has credit in town. Right. Since he's already paid out the wax merchants, that probably beekeepers, that they have to give him the wax, right? He already has contracts with other people. This is like we had a Gemara before where Sa was allowed. If you give me a Sa, I'll give you back a Sa. That was acceptable if the person had it in his storage and it was just waiting for his son to come with the key or something like that, or until I find the key. So maybe this is the same thing because he has contracts already. It should be acceptable. So it says no, Kamashman given the Mechasri Gavaina because they haven't been collected yet. Command less Nudami, it's not considered that he has it, and it would go back to those other rules where if you don't have it, then you can't make a deal like that to give more than what you're getting. I'm Rav Nachman. Another statement from Rav Nachman. Haimanda is if pshite mechavri, someone borrows pshite, like little coins from his friend. He borrows vashkach beitufina, and he finds that there's extra there.
In the bundle, it was more than he thought.
And then, yeah, he says, I want to borrow 100 coins, and he finds that there's 105, 110, 120. So, if it's something that the mind would make a mistake about, like that's what he borrowed, that's what he has to return. Be love, and if not, then maybe the guy gave him a gift along with the loan. What's going on over here? What would be a case where it would be a mistake? We're talking about over here that if the guy borrows $100, the guy gives him 10 tens or 25s. It turns out that there's 11 tens, so there's 21 fives, 22 fives. So then he made a mistake, he didn't count it right. But let's say over there was 10 tens plus another $4 in singles, and maybe
Not in the same
denomination, right? So then that's probably a gift.
Right. But he was still telling.
I don't know. Seems like maybe the guy gave him a gift. When he has to prepay, he pays. Right?
Bribe them.
No, you don't bribe the guy that you're giving the loan to.
Give you a loan, you gotta give him more money.
You give him more money that he has to pay back.
He has to pay back.
That he doesn't.
He doesn't
Give
have
him
to pay
more
back.
money than he has to pay back.
Right.
More money. Greater than he has to pay back, not then he has to pay
It's money laundering. He's got to get rid of the money in some way. For
back.
some
There's
reason.
something suspicious,
Yeah.
but nevertheless.
Or he's just nice, could be. Can't trust people sometimes.
Maybe
They
give a
wanna
little
give
extra
gifts.
for gas. I thought when you buy something, he puts another tablespoon on the scale,
Right,
same price, right?
right.
That's prohibited?
No, he's saying over here that maybe he made a mistake, but in what case would he make a mistake? Only if it's the same denomination.
Right,
he
so
was
it's not a
giving him.
mistake, it's a definite
But
gift.
if it's not a different denomination, then it's a gift. Amalei Rav Acha Brei Rav Ashi. The Ianish Takifahu, but if he's the type of guy that would never give a gift, he's a strong-fisted guy. Then what could you say to that? Maybe he had actually stolen from you, and what he was trying to do was pay you back for what he stole, and he didn't want to make a big deal about it. He didn't want to tell you. And did we say that that theft doesn't have to be announced when it's returned? We had a Gemara earlier. I thought theft did.
That was one of those things that.
Yeah, certain things didn't have to be. Anyway, maybe he's giving it back. It doesn't have to be exactly according to the halacha that he has to. He's giving it back. He wants to give it to your domain. Sneak your way. He's giving it back by doing this. The Tanya was taught in a brisa. Someone stole from him. The brisa says, and then when he has some transaction with him and he adds in the extra, he fulfills his obligation of paying it back. Yeah, someone said they shoplifted. How do they give it back? They don't want to walk in there and tell the guy that they stole something from the store. So they went in and they said, keep the change or whatever, you know. So so what does he do? Huh?
We have a movie. It pays. Kids don't really have the whole thing for money, so it's
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and not nice.
So if he's someone that doesn't have a shakel v'tari bade, if he has no business with him before it's his first time, he doesn't think he ever met the guy they stole from him. Amalei dilmin shachina gaslev. Amalei ki Yosef playing pshiti. Maybe someone else had stolen, and they had a conversation. He said, "Look, if you're going to be lending this guy money, so I stole from him. Would you mind paying him back this money?" And so it doesn't have to be exactly him.
These are all arguments that they use in modern capitalism as a critique of modern capitalism. The owner of the company steals from the worker by underpaying him. Then he gives him a Christmas present.
Right.
Thinks he's generous. Oh, the boss is generous, but he's been working at sub.
Right. Right.
The thing is called time preference. If I give you money in advance, instead of my waiting, you can give me more. It's just the previous
That sounds like
argument.
interest. No,
That's interesting.
you give money in advance, and then you'll take less if you take it in advance. What do you
Yeah,
mean?
'cause-
Someone gets paid early.
I'm starving, right? So I'm willing to take. Well, the question is, would you take $100 now or $100 a week from now? So the idea-
Now is better.
Now, okay, so I'm willing to take 98 now.
Oh, okay,
right?
yeah.
Because I have a time preference. That's supposed to
Yeah.
be legitimate. But then the rabbi comes in and says, no, I want the lesser money later. Because if you give it all to me now, I'll probably spend it.
Uh-huh.
If you're going to give it to me a year
Uh-huh.
from now, I know at least I'll have it.
Uh-huh.
But those are all arguments to get around interest. Because it's not interest, it's time preferences. So anxious to get the money.
Right,
He's willing to give up.
right. That's
So
interesting.
you're telling me that's interest. That's bad.
It just, I don't know. It's just natural.
Yeah,
It
right.
doesn't-
It's a Yitzi thing, right? It's a Yitzi.
I don't know the halacha if what would be interest. Probably the other way would be interest. If you pay later, you have to pay more. That sounds like interest.
Right.
But if you but taking less to pay early, I don't know if that's interest. Okay. I'm Rav Kana. Kana says, "Have you sivne b'shili pirkei de Rav?" Rav Kana came in late to the lecture of Rav. I was sitting in there at the end of the Rav's lecture. V'shamas to come. I heard them saying kari kari. Sounds like gourds or cucumbers. Or, I don't know what do they translate? Gourds.
Gourds.
Yeah, gourd is a pumpkin.
Huh.
Yeah,
Here's a picture of it.
yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, they grow in funny shapes.
Pumpkins.
Yeah, it's the pumpkin family.
It's so weird. It looks kind of like the head of a snake. Oh, yeah.
Those are the things that you find decorating the supermarket around certain holidays. Different shaped pumpkins. Anyway, so I was here after one of the hurricanes. I went to Publix. There was nothing to buy, but everything was the shelves were empty. It was crazy. Only thing that was there was like these pumpkins that no one ever buys. You know, they just sit over there. Okay, and borscht. And it was borscht. Anyway, so I heard them talking about these gourds. I didn't know what they were talking about. Also, the Kamrav after Rav got up, I said to them, "My kari the Kamrav, what was this Rav talking about? You're talking about the gourds." Well, Amruli, they said to me, Rav, this is what Rav said. Hi, man, kari Yazli Asara kari b'nei Zarta. Okay. Rav said that if there's someone that's giving money to a gardener for gourds, now 10 gourds that are the size of a zeres, which is I think half a amma, goes for 1 coin. And the guy says, "I'll give you 10 gourds the size of an entire amma for that 1 coin." He's giving him, this is a significant more. Well, it's double. Isnu, if he has them, then shari, then that's permissible. Less no, if he doesn't have it, then it's also. Like we learned before, that if it's not the market price, then you can't take it if you don't have it. You can't do that transaction. Where it says pshita, that's obvious. Where it says no, this is not so obvious. Mao the tame, I could have thought differently. He already has it. It just has to leave it to grow. It's going to continue growing. He has it already because you just don't cut it now, cut it later, and it's going to be that big. So Shapridami, it should be good. Kamashman, that's not so. Come on, who does this go like that? We say this. Say Tiaitana Detanya. It goes like the following. Brisa. So if someone is going to milk his goats, to share the wool of his lamb, Lede says kavarte, to take the honey from his hive. I don't know what the word for that is. Extract. Okay. This friend comes along and tells him, and he tells his friend, I'll sell you whatever amount my goat milks today for a certain price. Whatever the wool that comes off my sheep would be sold to you. Whatever honey, lychees, whatever crop I get, yield, whatever the yield is, to be sold to you. Mutter, that's allowed. The guy doesn't know what he's getting, but it's allowed. Whatever he's taking a risk, but that's allowed. What my goat gives milk, this and this amount is sold to you. So he's actually giving him a measurement now, but he's selling him. You're just telling him, I'm selling you a certain amount. Whatever my sheep shear, that should be sold to you. What the beehive yields should be sold to you. It's usher. Why? Why is that usher? Because he didn't do it yet. And he's selling him for a better price than and he doesn't have it. he still has to get it. And even though it's automatically coming because he could fill it up tomorrow, right? He'll share he'll milk the goat again tomorrow to make it to the right amount. But given the lesson by Yishaita, but it doesn't have it at this moment, then it's usher. That's usher.
Oh.
You see? And if you don't have it at this moment, it's usher. Even though if you leave it around, you'll have more. It's still usher. You have to give a better price. Okay. Ikadami, that doesn't say I'm a Rava. Given the Melech Rabba Shaperdam, Rabba said exactly the opposite. We have a brisa that says no, that if you're giving a set amount that is prohibited, asam lav mina karabba the shakle lahai vasyachina beduchte. Achamina karabba the shakle lahai lo yasyachina beduchte. The Gemara makes a difference here between a gourd and milking a cow, milking a goat, and shearing the sheep. The difference is that when a gourd, the gourd itself grows longer, and so wider, longer. While it's but when you milk the cow, you milk the goat, you milk it. Okay, the milk isn't growing. You have to milk it again to get more. Over here, the gourd is growing, so it's considered like you already had. The question is, do you have it already now? Do you have the extra now?
You have it. It could be bigger.
So I have it now. It just needs to grow more. The other one, I don't have it now. You just have to milk it more. But it's not this milk that's going to grow. It's more milk that's going. So in other words, if I take this gourd, I'm not going to get another gourd to take its place. It's this gourd itself that's going to grow. Amar Abaya. Abaya says, person is allowed to tell his friend, I want to buy some wine for you. A barrel of wine. Only thing is, I'm not taking it right now. Itakva, if it goes bad, then I would need that's your problem. I need my money back. Iyakra izila, if the price changes, then I'll take that loss. Or gain. So I'm not taking the risk of it going bad, but I will take the risk of it going up or down the price. Amle Rav Shravi Labaya, Rav Shravi says to Abaya, 1 second. I cut the scar brachel lehefsedu. This is a problem if someone invests money with another person. And he says, I'm only investing on condition that if there's a loss, I don't get the loss. I always get my money back, and if there's a profit, I get more.
Wow.
I like those two.
So that's interest. That's interest, because if there's no risk, then we don't call that an investment. We call that a loan with interest, with potential interest. But there's no risk there. So it's saying over here, look what he's doing. There's no risk. He's saying if there's he's giving money. He's giving money, and if it goes bad, it's the other guy's fault.
There is the risk of depreciation.
So Amalei, so Abaya tells him back, giving them Kabbalah Zula, because he's accepting on himself that maybe it's going to go down, and Karav Lazel Zehu, then it's equal risk.
The word was sours, right? It's sours.
Sours.
But what's the word for soars? If the price goes up.
Not sour, sour.
Soar.
Yakra.
That's SOAR, and the other one is SOUR.
Okay, let's leave it over here.
I think this
is holding around the right.
Yeah.
Someone could go and give a deposit for us and say a car. Yeah, deliver you the car.